Hello and greetings from Iceland. It's time for an update, and this time I will be talking about the good old Reykjanes Peninsula, since things have been a bit shaky there during the past 2-3 weeks. But we started the journey on the so-called Tjörnes fracture zone, since it seems to me that the earthquake swarms there are becoming more and more frequent. And we have just gone through such a period once again, and this time the epicenter was just by the island Grímsey, the northernmost inhabited part of Iceland, and I have to admit that I didn't have time to go there last year for the footage that I so desperately need from there. Not just the geology footage, I also wanted to capture some of the millions of puffins that we find there, and of course the village itself, for my series about Icelandic towns, where I actually have a new video now. And I'm not digging deeper into this now, up north. Just saying that I hope that it is a good thing that some energy has been released there through those frequent earthquake swarms, because there is enough tension around there for a magnitude 7 earthquake. So let's check out the Reykjanes Peninsula. Starting where I left off the other day, when I was telling you about the earthquake swarm that took place around here. Those earthquakes faded out shortly after I made that video, and it was then little over 2 weeks ago when the area to the west from Lake Kleifarvatn started to shake, or a bit more than usual. And when we look at the earthquake plot covering the last 3 weeks, we see that it's all the usual suspects that's shaking. But let's zoom down to this area, the Krýsuvík volcanic system. Those earthquakes are actually just a tiny little chapter in a longer story that goes back a long way. But as for the more recent events, first I want to mention the land uplift that occurred around here, and it was then in October 2020 when a magnitude 5.6 earthquake struck around here. So let's do a drone tour now, and this will be our flight path. And first, notice those explosion craters. And this region is remarkable. This hot spring has been here in this form since 1924, but it only appeared after a strong earthquake back then. And as for the lake, the water level dropped by 4 meters after earthquakes in the year 2000. But the lake has since then recovered, and there are hot springs under the lake, plenty of them. And just by, we have the Seltún hot spring area. So this area has it all when it comes to geothermal activity. And I somehow suspect that my generation will live to see this land change in some new way. And one of the theories goes on to say that the lake itself might be a part of a caldera rim. And the lake is most likely in a depression valley rather than an explosion crater. And when we get a bit higher up and look over those hills, we find this long and narrow valley, and during the last erupted chapter in this volcanic system, it was a 25-kilometer long fissure that opened up, and a part of the lava that came from it covers the metropolitan area today that we see in the background. So this is the volcanic system that we don't want to be teasing us. And due to all the earthquakes around recently, especially when I look at the 48-hour earthquake map, which is partially outlining this ancient caldera that's supposed to be under there, I have to ask, is Mother Nature trying to tell us something? Or where the next eruption might take place on the peninsula? So let's move to Grindavík, and we see that there are earthquakes there again, or where the land uplift took place a year ago after the 4th magma intrusion. So like elsewhere on the peninsula, seismic activity seems to be growing, but not as much as by the lake though. But as for the main question, the question I'm getting quite often now, will there be an eruption in Iceland during my summer holiday? And I have to say, it is way harder to make any predictions now than just a few months ago. It's just so much going on, but nothing that sticks out that much. Grímsvötn volcano under the glacier is ready. It could erupt anytime, and the likelihood of an eruption increases as we move further into the summer, or after some of the ice on the caldera has been melting. And I am actually quite sure that Grímsvötn will erupt this year. We have been seeing that coming for so long time now. But as for the Askja volcano that looked suspicious for a while, it's not looking as Askja is going to ruin the summer for many tourists. And we have to be thankful for that because Askja is not a tourist-friendly volcano. We could of course get lucky and get a minor eruption, but it doesn't look so now. And the land uplift can still be detected. The mountain road to Askja, it will open up soon. My guess is within 1-2 weeks. And it has been my plan to go up there with a thermal drone for some time. But after things seemed to cool down last winter, I decided to wait until the roads would open because it was more and less impossible to go up there. So all I've been able to do is to do some practicing, like I did a short tour the other day with a friend up on this mountain. This is an old road that leads us to the Central Highlands from the north. And we made it to 700 meters above sea level rather easily, but after that things got a bit more risky, so we decided to hold on and do a full tour later when all the snow is gone. And the nature isn't fully green yet due to the cold spring, so I have not been in a hurry to move on the road, but I have to admit that I'm getting a bit excited to see what the thermal drone will find. That is one of the biggest tasks for the summer. And just recently, I uploaded a thermal video of some of the craters on the Reykjanes Peninsula, and I'm leaving a link for them if you haven't checked them out. Those were just bits and pieces I used to make a dramatic style video, but it could have been a funeral style video as well. It was such a view on Mount Faradalsfjall, but this turned out to be a short tour. I had car problems, the whole package, mostly results from some of the terrible roads that I was driving last year. My car hasn't fully recovered, so I need to go back there up to Faradalsfjall and spend at least a whole day, see how the lava is cooling, and I just need my time, especially when I find something like this. And I also want to take a dive with the drone into the crater, because there is a LED light on it. But to get such a video, I will have to do some hiking because I was shooting this from far away last time. So this is on my plan. But the first large tour, it will be here in the north and the northeast. I will be going after thermal footage from some of the hot areas around by the plate boundaries. And I will also be going after summer solstice footage, since we are getting into that beautiful season now. But wherever I will be, I will have to be ready to drive south to the Reykjanes Peninsula if things start to move there again. But as you all know, the number one plan for the drone was to see if it could be able to detect magma intrusions. And it's only a question of time when number 5 will be knocking on the door. And I will of course be ready for that. But even if Mother Nature decides to stay calm, this will be a busy season for me the next weeks, and I will be uploading something new all summer, even if Mother Nature decides to stay cool. But we all know it's not going to be the case for that long. And with that, I'm sending you best regards from the volcano island, Iceland.